Hello, I'm Bob Harris. Welcome to Duraamen's educational series for industrial and decorative concrete flooring systems. All right, on our vertical Skraffino application, roughly an hour and a half has transpired since we've applied our first regular coat. Chuck just brought up the point. Normally we would go ahead and sand this, take 80 grit sandpaper. So you don't want any little nibs or ridges. Why don't you just show them how to scrape it with a trowel? It's going to discolor it, but that's okay. So all we're trying to do, if there's any little nibs or little cling-ons, we're just scraping them off. We don't care about the discoloring because we're getting ready to color over that. Perfect. So now for demonstration purposes only, we've mixed up a different color. You saw how we applied it so efficiently with the sprayer. That's really fast. So if you're doing a large area, a lot of square feet, that's a great way is to apply it. If you're doing small areas, perhaps it's a bathroom, you don't need to make the mess with the sprayer. You can simply use the hawk and trowel like Chuck's doing. So what we've done is we've made up Skraffino fine regular with a Chelsea gray, just a light tint. So what you're going to see is a much lighter gray. And then we're just going to show you some really basic texturing techniques, but we'll go ahead and finish this panel off with broadcasting Colorfast color to get a marbleized look, finished off with the magic trowel. Once again, our mix ratio is right around 3.8 liters, the equivalent of that per bucket. So the only other consideration, this is only an hour and a half. We don't care if it dries quick for the demonstration purposes, but it's not a bad idea. Go ahead and put a coat of CP1000 primer on there, and that's going to give you some additional working time. Had we primed this, it's just going to extend the working time. It's not going to dry so fast, is the only thing. But we purposely want it to dry quick here. Again, our goal here is to, like if we were doing a loft apartment where they want a nice, smooth, traditional concrete look. However, if you wanted to create a texture, it could literally be as simple as taking your trowel, using random patterns like this, and then just simply come and lightly knock that down. Now you notice I'm going in one direction. I'm not going to go like this because I'm going to get rid of my texture. So I'm just going to make short strokes, crossing directions. And it creates a really nice texture, as you can see here. And then once this is dry, if we chose to, we could do a very light dye wash with Deso dye, and it gives it a really beautiful contrasting color because the dye takes differently in the furthest back parts. Okay, so there's just a lot of variety for texturing. Now we're going to go ahead and just smooth it back out, and we're going to demonstrate some Colorfast pigments. Okay, so really important, we're going to broadcast the Colorfast pigment into it, and the material still needs to be a little bit wet on the wall so we can trowel it in, okay? If for whatever reason the material's drying, you're not going to be able to effectively trowel this in, and it doesn't take a whole bunch. So we'll go ahead and start troweling that in a non-directional pattern. And look how nice that is. You notice we keep crossing it. We want it real fuzzy looking. We don't want to see those streaks. Really a nice look, super easy. Okay. I always like to, when I'm doing a wall, stand back and let's say, for example, you had one area where, you know, maybe it was too dark. You could really easily cancel that out by just simply wetting your trowel out. See how I softened it? Simply by putting more material. That easy. Once again, to show you, a little dark spot right here. I'm just wetting the trowel out, put it up there, and that quickly I soften it back out, simply by applying fresh material. So as you can imagine, you can really have a lot of fun with this. And as Chuck and I continue to trowel this, this will literally look like burnished concrete, which is our ultimate goal, was to create a burnished concrete look. So super fast, super easy, nothing more. Couple coats of Skraffino, broadcasting pigment into it, and look at this look that you get. Really spectacular. On our Skraffino applications over our vertical drywall, we're getting ready just to show you, if you choose to, you can actually color the wall using the Deso dyes. Now, again, this by itself is really stunning. This is a beautiful wall. We could just go right to the next step and apply multiple coats of sealer to preserve our wall. However, for demonstration purposes only, we're just going to show you how you can easily change the color from this gray, and just by using the Deso dye. So the Deso dye, it does come concentrated form like this. It can be mixed into either 1 gallon of acetone and or 1 gallon of water. So in this case, we're going to mix it into water and spray apply it and just massage it in. You could use rags, you could use a sponge, you could use a paint pad, anything to just massage the dye into the wall. And it's just that easy. So once this has had sufficient dry time, we'll go ahead and get into the sealing application of these products on this wall. Word of caution, when you're working inside or outside for that matter, you really need to be diligent about protecting your surrounding areas. Be very thorough with your masking so you don't contaminate anything that's at either the base of the wall or the ceiling or whatever. So we'll show you how to apply it. Okay, let's get busy applying our dye. So we're using rosy brown Deso dye in a water-based solution. A word of caution, always protect yourself, non-absorbent gloves. You should be wearing respirators, dust masks, anything to protect yourself. So I'm going to simply apply it here. I'm not too concerned about the runs. Now normally, you know, the old school way is starting at the bottom and working up with the logic, you'll see drips. The thing is with Deso dye in a water-based solution, you have really unlimited working time. So it's just about getting it on the wall quickly. So we're going to shift our color from this gray into a brown tone. A traditional paint pad works really, really nice because I have a lot of control. Look how gorgeous, just by spraying a little bit of that dye. You see our Colorfast accents really coming through now. This is how easy and how fast you can add additional color to your wall. Just that quick, we've went from kind of a gray tone, brought it and shifted it into more of a brown tone family. Just really attractive with all the Colorfast colors as well. All right, we've obtained our desired color combinations on this beautiful Skraffino wall. Now it's time to get into the sealing aspects of this. So what we're going to be demonstrating is Duraamen's A03 water-based acrylic sealer. There's a wide variety of ways that you can apply this product. I think my favorite way is using a cup gun for efficiency and also cleanliness. It just lays it on real nice and then I'll immediately follow up with a back roll using a 3/8 inch nap roller. You don't have to use a cup gun. You can use a pump up sprayer and spray it on. You could dip and roll, but it's just very messy because a lot of the sealer's flying off of the roller cover. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate. We're going to give the first coat of the A03 probably 3 to 4 hours of dry time, and then we'll come back with a second application of the same product. All right, we are back on our Skraffino wall. 3 hours is transpired. You usually want to wait a minimum of 3 to 4 hours between coats. And we're getting ready to apply our second application of Duraamen's A03 water-based acrylic. Just while we're thinking about it, let's talk about if you had a concern, perhaps it's a restaurant where they're going to have grease splashing on the walls, or a bathroom, for example, where you may want to waterproof it. A good system to consider would be, once you had sufficient dry time with your second coat of the A03, is go over that with a water-based epoxy, Purdue E32 for example. That would need to completely, totally cure. You would follow that with a 100% solids epoxy, and of course that would dry overnight, and then you would consider coming back over the top of that with a matte or a gloss polyurethane. It sounds like a lot of systems, but that's really the true way to protect the wall from grease and or water. This concludes our demonstration for the Skraffino applied to the vertical wall application.